Hello everyone and welcome to my slot of the Midweek Madness Train Sim Classic Day. We're going to be showing off the West Coast Mainline Trent Valley by, I believe it's Thompson Interactive who does this one. So let's jump straight into the 350. Right, we are in the 350. So good afternoon, it's a beautiful day on the West Coast Mainline, but the line is as busy as ever. Please direct the train ahead to clear the next section and then proceed into Stafford Station. Have a nice day. How very nice of it. And yeah, big thanks to Dovetail Gamers for giving us the opportunity to show off, well, another Train Sim Classic route and just another route for the event. So let's get going. Let me quickly get that. I've got my stop formation reminder here as well. So 4 coaches. Well, I think we're 4 coaches. No, we're not 4 coaches. That was I thought we might have been, but no, we are I think 8. Right, let's get this set up. That's already on, so we'll do that. Headlights. Just cheekily do it by pressing H. There we go. And I think we're probably ready to go. I don't think you can use. No, you can't use that. Oh, we got a shed. Nice. Right. Yeah. Hopefully the audio's all good. And let's go. Hopefully it's at an all right level. We are out of here. One thing about this 350, it doesn't actually have any passenger view. As this is, I think this one's a slightly older one in the game. Yeah, I think it's a slightly older one, this one. Because yeah, this is the Thompson Interactive 350. And there's quite a big difference as well between the DTG and the Thompson Interactive one. This one literally has cheese brakes. The brakes are just horrible to use. And you've got no branding as well. No biggie. Off we go. Yeah, London Euston. So we're going down to Rugby. This is, well, as I said, the Trent Valley part of the route. So we've got Stafford, Nuneaton, Rugby. That's literally it. Just that. So let's have a look at the map. We are there at the moment. So actually, I suppose at the moment we are actually on, I suppose, I don't know what part of the West Coast Mainline this bit is. But technically at the moment we're not on the Trent Valley. Once we get sort of off the junction of this bit, then we're on the Trent Valley. I don't know what this bit would be called actually. Because obviously this is the bit what goes up to, I suppose, towards Crewe. Someone will know. As we approach Stafford. And I think there's also announcements on this one as well. So that'll be cool. Let's pop in that down. I've got a single yellow. And
this is the limited stop service for London Euston. Calling at Stafford, Nuneaton, Rugby and London Euston only.
Boom.
The next stop is Stafford.
That'd be a very
Please
quick 350,
remember to take all of your luggage and personal
Rugby
belongings
and
with
then
you
London
when
Euston.
leaving the train.
There you go, there's one of the announcements. It's quite cool to have, isn't it? That goes off automatically. Pop it down even more. There we go. Cool. That'd be a very quick service, wouldn't it? Do some of them maybe do that? Where it's Rugby then London Euston? No, surely not. Maybe. So I'm not too familiar with the West Coast Mainline. I'm quite alright, I'm fairly good with the East Coast Mainline though. The West Coast Mainline is like a whole different world. There's our stop marker. Just a tiny bit. But see, I said that the brakes are cheesy. Let's get the okay, let's get the doors open. Could be worse. So we're pretty quick on this one. Staffordshire University, the home of great minds. Does anyone go to Staffordshire University watching? You have a great mind. Oh wow, that is an old DLC, that one. The Glasgow Airport Rail Link. Wow. think it's actually a fictional one as well. It doesn't exist, but it's like a, you know, it sort of what's the saying, what it could be. Right, our next up is Nuneaton. We have got a guard as well. Probably should have whacked it into neutral. Oh well. And we're off. It is at Nuneaton next, which is in probably quite a while. Yeah, 36 miles. And then to Rugby we've got 51 miles. Although we finish in 55 miles. So it's quite a yeah, I think it said about 55 minutes this one. But off we go. There we are, the up service. Although we go quite quick though. What is the top speed of the 350? 110 miles an hour. Oh, hang on, can we use this? What's this all about? Oh, I didn't realise we could use some of that. We'll definitely have to have a play around with that. Driver ID. Oh, can we not? Oh no, you can. Ooh, that's fun. Okay, I didn't realise you could do that. Well, there we go. You learn something new every day on Train Sim Classic. Start speeding up in a second. And let's go. So she's already 75. So that then goes off. Well, that bit. Yeah, I'm assuming that's the bit that goes off towards Birmingham. I suppose this is sort of like the Birmingham bypass, like what it is. So you can just completely skip out Birmingham. There we go. We're off. Up to 90. I don't know, what is the service pattern of this part of the route? I'm assuming maybe the longer distance Avanti services completely skip out Birmingham, but maybe the ones to Liverpool, maybe they stop at Birmingham. Guessing. There we go. And up to 90 as well, so relatively quick. Looks like we're on the up slow at the moment. There we go. We're on our way. So we're passing quite a few stations, and we'll also be passing Lichfield Trent Valley, which if that station doesn't ring a bell, is the one from the Cross City line on Train Sim World. Oh, and on Train Sim Classic as well. You should also get the Cross City line on here as well, in London Midland livery. Oh, we've got another freight train there. Containers on it and a few empty ones as well. Try and get a nice shot of it as we sort of fly past it. There you go. So yeah, quite an old train in the game, this one. Or at least this rendition of the train. And so you have got the Dovetail Games one on the West Coast Main Line South, which is much better. Although it doesn't have announcements, but it is, you know, you get passenger view and all that sort of funky stuff. Number 66, freight corridor through here. Yeah, a nice fun part of the West Coast Main Line. Also, I suppose quite a remote part of it. I know it's not too remote. There's quite a few stations along here, but not, you know, in the big hustle and bustle sections. Just, don't know, a bit quieter, I suppose, ish. Yeah, I'm sure there's been lots of fun routes shown in the event so far. But yeah, I just thought we'd come and do some Trent Valley, as I know it doesn't really get shown off too much. And it's quite a fun route. I mean, who doesn't like the West Coast Main Line? Although I must admit, I do like the East Coast Main Line more, but people love the West Coast Main Line. Into the big tunnel. And then we've got a 110 coming up as well. So a relatively quick service. Well, it still takes us like 50 minutes, but quickish. So it's a minute a mile-ish. There we go. Let's have a look on the map. Yeah, so we are up there still. So coming up to... What's this one here? Rugeley Town. I know I've said that wrong. And then you got Rugeley there. Whereas that one's Rugeley, Trent Valley, isn't it? Which is sort of the other cross-city line of Birmingham. I think it's the end of the Snow Hill lines. Could be wrong there. Could be wrong. My knowledge of lines round here is slightly more limited. Some of the tracks joining up there. And yeah, up to 110. Nice. Nice and quick. I've got to wait for the back of the train. There we go. Perfect. And up we go. That's a good question though. What type of Desiro do you like more? Do you like DC Desiros? And I'll count the no, I won't count the 700. Or shall I? Nah, I won't. Yeah, DC Desiro. So we'll say basically the 450 and the 444. Or do you like AC Desiros being the 350? What do you prefer more? Well, I was saying that the 350s, I think they used to have a third rail sheet. I think they used to run down towards East Croydon. Well, not anymore, not for quite a long while, but I think I did hear that they used to have a third rail sheet, which allowed them to go on the West London line. As we race our way along. Is that another shed already? Oh no, it's another Desiro. Got the orange army there. Can we open the window? Yeah, can't on this one. I think this route came out back in 2015. Yeah, so I remember it quite well being advertised. Was that sort of when I not first started playing Train Sim Classic? That was 2014, but remember sort of when I was playing it on really low settings, you know, low graphics, it used to lag quite a bit. I remember just seeing, yeah.
Smoking is prohibited on this service. This includes the toilets, which are fitted with sensitive smoke alarms.
Oh, that's good to know. There we go, we all know now. But I remember seeing it advertised quite a bit all the way back then. So yeah, 2015 I think this one came out. Cool. Yeah, so we do have announcements on this one. Right, we have got a neutral section coming up, so we are very soon going to pop that down. Let's actually coast it now. Coast through the neutral section. It should be coming up fairly soon. Wait and see the neutral section board signs. Can't be too far off. Will be somewhere around here. Oh, here it is here. There you go. Speed that back up. So speeding up again. We did lose a bit of speed then when we were coasting. Oh, can we also change the destination using this? Let's have a look. Can we use that? Oh, we can. We're going to Watford Junction now. Anything above Watford Junction is the north. To me, at least. Okay, yeah, you've got quite a few bits and bobs on there. Birmingham New Street, Nuneaton. You can see that changes it on the outsides on the screens. Could trick customers, but oh, hang on, it's changed back. They didn't like us tricking customers. The guard was probably looking at the other end thinking, what on earth's going on? What's that there? Another 350, or is that the back of a freight train? I think it's a 350. Yeah, I think it's a 350. Probably get there, it will be a freight train. Something on the right there, what's that? Oh, that's a shed. Really rapidly going on at the moment though. Lovely. So yeah, massive long gaps between the stations on this service. How far are we off Nuneaton now? 21 miles still. We're due there at 35 past. So we've got, well, quite some time just to sightsee. Well, after that it's a bit smaller of a gap than after that 15 miles between Nuneaton and Rugby, which, well, won't take too long. I should have taken a screenshot then. Oh well. What's the next station coming up? Let's have a look. Next one is going to be... It's got little tiny ones on here as well. Oh, Lichfield, there we go. Lichfield Trent Valley, the next one coming up. So yeah, if you've played the Cross City line, then you'll probably be quite familiar with it. That'd be cool to see it on here. It should be in, well, I suppose it'll be an unbranded London Midland, you'll see it in. Yeah, coming up to that. There it is, 350. So you've got a bit of a yard here as well. Let's get a flyby shot. Let's whiz ahead and watch it flying through. Nice, up here you've then got the Cross City line. Let's get that back on. Not a good idea to have that off on this route. But yeah, the Cross City line is on Train Sim Classic as well. It's it released back in... Oh, when did the Cross City first release the Train Sim Classic? I don't know why 2019 rings a bell, but no, I think it was 2020 or 2021. No, 2020 I think. Or was it 2021? One of those two. So it's still relatively new to Train Sim Classic. Yeah, whizzing along. What's the next one after that? Next one after that is going to be... Oh, we've got a freight train coming up to Grangemouth. We've then got Tamworth. There's another freighter. It's its way up. Cool. Should be greens basically all of the way. It did say the line was busy, but probably not for us. And we won't see any Pendolinos either on this route. I think the route only includes the 350 and the 66. But if you do get the route, there is many scenarios available on the Steam Workshop and other sources as well. Other websites where you can download scenarios which probably have the 390 on. Cool. We're going over there. River there. Well, quite a big river actually. That was. Yeah, Thompson Interactive does actually have quite a few good releases for Train Sim Classic. I think the most recent one was the Glasgow subway. which I know was quite popular as well. It's the Glasgow subway. It's cool, isn't it? It's a unique little thing. But he's also done the West Highland Line extension. Yeah, I think the West Highland Line extension, which is a very sort of well reviewed route. What's another one I've played of Thompson Interactive? Oh, what's another one? There's a few others as well. Well, I think Thompson Interactive doesn't actually develop anymore. Because I think the Glasgow subway, the only reason why I did that was because, well, the pandemic, so there wasn't really much else to do outside of, I suppose, you know, being inside and gaming and developing. So this is Tamworth. But I suppose that's sort of, you know, that's across the board really for Train Sim Classic, because Train Sim Classic's been out since years, over a decade. So quite a lot of developers have come and go. Another one, Master Key Simulations, who did probably one of the best Steam releases for Train Sim Classic, the Class 460. They don't develop stuff anymore. And yeah, it's obviously interactive and does anything anymore. I want to see Creative Rails. I haven't seen anything of theirs for a long time. This is fun, overtaking the freight train. Give a little honk as we go past. There we go. So I was probably wondering what on earth we're doing. Yeah, there's a absolutely massive amount. I mean, that's the really exciting thing about Train Sim Classic. There's so many developers for it. Not everything does get put on the Steam store, but you know, we're not going to mention that. But I suppose on the Steam store you've got tons of developers who do bits and bobs on there. You've got Just Trains. I'm just a few. Victory Works, who does some fantastic Steam trains. Skyhook Games, I think they've done a few things for Train Sim Classic. Rivet Games, they do stuff for Train Sim Classic, quite a lot of Swiss stuff. Yeah, and that's just to name a few. There's tons and tons of developers. Brandon Cactus Juice, who did the Long Island Railroad. Well, I think that does actually come under the banner of Dovetail Games. Armstrong Powerhouse as well, another really good one. Who's done the very, very good Wherry lines. So yeah, the tons of developers, way more than what you get for Train Sim World currently, I suppose. Union Workshop, that's another one. What was this? What's this station? It's like an abandoned one. What was that? Polesworth. Okay. Yeah, Union Workshop, who does quite a lot of sort of Asian routes, Japanese stuff. Quite recently, the Tokyo commuter route, which was very enjoyable. So yeah, lots going on. I mean, and another one, New Zealand Train Sim. Which yeah, is another sort of advantage of Train Sim Classic over Train Sim World. There's so many more, I suppose, developers, people working on it, third party, and also lots more variety as well. As I'm sure Train Sim World will get to that, you know, level one day. But yeah, a lot of people do sort of put down Train Sim Classic. They say it's sort of the old game, doesn't look as good, but it's got a lot going for it still. Got 105 coming up, and got a 90 after that. Oh, and we do have a double yellow, I think. Well, we'll start slowing down then. I don't know if this is non-eating coming up already. No, we've still got about 10 minutes until we get to, well, until we're scheduled into non-eating. Okay, we'll start popping that down. Oh, unless it's going to bring us maybe onto the slower lines. It does say platform 4 there, so maybe, yeah, maybe it's going to pop us onto the slow line. sort of the final 6 miles into Nuneaton. Might be doing that perhaps. Yeah, we probably don't want to slow down, so it's now single yellow. just in case that's not the not the reason. Full brake. Just in case it is actually red. That wouldn't be very fun going through a red light. Oh, it is a red as well. I wonder what we're waiting for then. Because I thought we might be coming across maybe onto the slow line, but maybe not. Oh, unless we're waiting for that maybe. Is that maybe coming across? So yeah, slightly harsh braking there. We're all good, we're safe. Let's just press tab. Don't know. Okay, there is something ahead. That's always a good way to check to see if it is actually red. Just press tab, or if you can go through, just press tab, and it will say either approved or denied. And it was mean and said denied, so we can't go yet. What we're waiting for though. What's in the way of us? Oh, hello. What are you doing there? What's going on? Well, I hope that does start moving. Doesn't look like it's actually activated yet. The headlights aren't on, so I assume that's probably what what it said. Busy. There you go. Now it's going. That'll be starting in a second as well. So we might be a little bit ahead of schedule at the moment. It's a bit cheeky going ahead there. This is Atherstone. Come on, hurry up. So we should probably now have a single yellow. Yep. We're off. So yeah, we're following that into Nuneaton, I suppose. Still take it steady. The next one probably, well, probably won't be, but we shouldn't assume it won't be. So we gotta assume it's going to be a red. So take it nice and careful. And the other train's still sat there. Yeah, single yellow. Okay, all right. Yeah, quite a long stretch. I mean, over half an hour without stopping this one. Well, at a station. Through Atherstone, quite a nice little station. Double yellow. It should get quite a way ahead quite quickly as well. Should. Yeah, big thanks again to Dovetail for giving us the opportunity to spend a bit of time showing off the Trent Valley route. Even more. What's everyone's favourite route on Train Sim Classic? I'm coming with the questions today. Yeah, what is your favourite route on Train Sim Classic? For me, it would probably be the either the Brighton Main Line. The Brighton Main Line is fantastic, or the East Coast Main Line South. One of those two. But then I do like my sort of third rail. I know the East Coast Main Line isn't third rail, but sort of Thames Link, Southern, all that sort of Great Northern, Gatwick Express, all that sort of stuff. I like that. Get that up even further. There we go. 67, 68. That is going up quite nicely. So we have to wait for that train to stop at Nuneaton, won't we? Unless we're going into another platform. Which might be the case. Possibly. Well, we continue along for now. What have we got on this one? Single yellow. Ooh, we want to slow down then. Ooh, we don't want to be speeding up too much. Yeah, the brakes are okay, but they're not fantastic on this. Look at that. Oh, single yellow again. Alright. Look at that. So we shouldn't have too far. Yeah, 2.5 miles to Nuneaton. And after that, yeah, not too far to Rugby. So we haven't got actually that much further to go now, really. I mean, about 21 miles, but as opposed to what we have done already, not too much. So that we are now down this end. So yeah, we're over halfway. Probably not just about 3/4 yet. There's another 350. Little 4-coach there. You gotta be joking. What are you doing? Right, we better speed up. I'm not having that. We're on the fast line. You're on the slow line. Right, I'm going fast. Competition, eh? Well, actually, what we'll try and get a screenshot out of this. If we can. Oh, we're racing. We're not the best thing to do, but we are racing. No, not that. Oh god, that one. There we go. Oh, a bit further back now. Nah, that's fine. No, that's not fine. Hang on, we could slow down a little bit. Just so that it catches up a tiny bit. Try and line them up nicely. Come on. Catch up. No, I'm slam right over that. We've botched that one. Let's come into a red light. Hang on, no, it's catching that. Slowly. We'll have to stop in a sec. When we get out of the station, maybe. Try and get a nice screenshot of them sort of lined up together. And yeah, coming into Nuneaton. It's about time we had
This is the limited stop service for London Euston, calling at Nuneaton, Rugby and London Euston only. The next stop is Nuneaton. Please remember to take all your luggage and personal belongings with you when leaving the train.
Thank you, announcer. And basically, if you leave your baggage on the train, it's going to get destroyed. The BTP will be on it. Another nice station, quite a sort of large station as well, isn't it? I thought it was only sort of 4 platforms, but no, I think it's 5 or 6. That's for the 390, but I don't see one for us, so we'll just stop here. Oh, it did beat us into the station, I think, unless that's the one ahead of it. I think it was actually the one ahead of it, actually. Here we are. Nice. There's another one there. Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, there you go. Thompson Interactive. The Fort William. I think it is the West Highland Line extension. I mean, that looks beautiful just from that really pixelated image. So we've got a couple of minutes here. Drew out 36. Well, a minute. And only 10 minutes to Rugby, which is now in 14 miles. And we've got to go slightly further past Rugby. It's a really pleasant station, look at that. Go natural interiors. See, I would like to see this on Train Sim World, something like this, where you get sort of, I know sort of Rivet Games sort of like to promote their DLC. But yeah, on sort of DTG routes where you had, you know, like a billboard like this saying, I don't know, and it could update as well, sort of each release. So as the 700's coming out soon, maybe on the billboards it could say Class 700 coming soon. And then when the next DLC is announced, it then updates, I suppose, to the next one. All aboard, everyone, all aboard. We are basically ready to leave. Here comes the other train. To wait out there. That one's coming in. Right. Come on, let's get those doors shut. There you go. Right away, next stop is Rugby. Let's go full whack on that. Let's try up to 110. Goodbye, other train. See you probably at London, maybe. See the spark? That's really sparking. Oh, we're off. So yeah, 14 miles, there's another one there coming in. Going on to the slower line there. So all the way here now.
Emergency information is displayed throughout this train for your safety.
She's off
Please
again.
take time to read this information and report anything suspicious to a member of the onboard staff.
Oh, there's a neutral section there. Oh, that's naughty. It's fine. Train hasn't done anything silly. We're all good. We're safe. Donington Cemetery side in. Hickley, where's that way go? Bedworth. Where's this one go? Arley. Probably all sort of Birmingham way still. As we continue our voyage down the Trent Valley. Here in the, I suppose, West Midlands. Got a modern bridge there which went under. Absolutely flying at them, aren't we now? We're passing any stations on this section? Probably. We are going to be passing... No station. No stations till Rugby. We are just fast there. Well, no stops in between. And from looking at the map, I did say there was a freight train ahead, so maybe we might start getting some warnings for that at some point. Probably will. Coming up now, haven't we? Oh no, it's still green for us. Or is, yeah, still green. That's good. Very nice. So yeah, it shouldn't take us long to get there. We've got, well, 10 miles, so 10 minutes really, maybe less than that. They've got a couple of, what do they call that? A power move, don't they? Where you get sort of two locos together being taken somewhere. Nice. It's basically 110 all the way on this route. Hasn't really been many speed changes. I love the Pendo could go faster. As I said, the Pendo's not included with this route. Now there is another part of the West Coast Main Line is included in the West Coast Main Line South. You get a whole horde of trains on there. I think on the West Coast Main Line South you get like the 378, the 377, the 350, I think the 66, the 390. You get a whole horde of trains. It's a very, very long, decent route. Decent route. What are we going over? Oh, we've got a canal there. With the narrow boats. And a 105 coming up. Yeah, not particularly far now. I thought it was going to go into 2 tracks, or will it? Looked like on the map it went into 2 at some point along here. There we go. Oh, there's the freight. Oh, yeah, it must be 3 tracks then. Have some of that freight train. Give him a blast of the horn as we as we get to the front. EPS. Does that be what? Express passenger service? Experimental? No. Probably mirror. So they're probably trying to replicate the less CO2 rail. I think Tesco containers have. I think it's Tesco. Go ready, jump to get ready. Here we go. So it does actually have a license for DRS. Oh, hello. Oh. Yeah, you got the direct rail services license as well. Continue to pop that up. So we should soon be joining up with the, well, I suppose the rest of the West Coast Main Line, the bit will go through Birmingham New Street. We're joining up with that again after our little shortcut. Yeah, I think it is quite a considerable amount of time slower going via Birmingham. I think it adds like an extra sort of 20-25 minutes or so. Probably actually more than that. Continue our way south. There we go. Well, it's been about 45 minutes, and the scenario did say I think 50 minutes. I think it was 50. I think it was 50. So can't be yeah, can't be too far now. Yeah, 3.5 miles, and we've still got to join up with the other line as well, which might be coming up now actually. Well, not just yet, but fairly soon. And to Rugby, which is a very nice station. Served us well it has for this journey. Yeah, they cover quite long distances though. Yeah, London Euston up to sort of Crewe, that's, well over, I mean that is over 100 miles. What's that, 150 odd miles or so? Probably more than that. I don't know if it would be the same drive all the way from Crewe to Euston. What's that about? Probably, what, 2-3 hours? If you're doing the sort of slower train, I suppose.
This is the limited stop service for
She's
London
back.
Euston. Calling at Rugby and London Euston only. The next stop is Rugby. Please
Okay.
remember to take all of your luggage and personal belongings with you when leaving the train.
There we go. And yes, as she did say, we are now approaching Rugby. Let's put that down. Cool. And then yeah, I think we've got to go like an extra sort of 4 miles to a tunnel and then we end there. Which is sort of the definitive end of the route. Here we are. Yeah, it's a really nice station. So we've done this bit quite a bit on the West Coast Main Line South. There we go. And where's our stop? Is that a 4 there? There's a 4 there. 4 to 5. So we're a bit further up. Might actually be right to the end here, actually. Yeah, I think it will be right to the end. Me getting these types of shots never works out. I always end up overshooting. This brakes on. Oh, it's fine. We are. No, that's fine. That'll do. I mean, yeah. See, I don't like that. Whenever I sort of try and stop in this camera, it never goes well. I suppose you just can't judge it as sort of as best you can in the cab or from the cab. The door's still fine. Oh, still on, so that's fine. Yeah, Rugby. It's very nice. Massive station building as well. Next up will be... Oh, wow. Actually, wow. That is quite quick then. Also, we're not going to Euston. That'd be about another hour or so. I guess the guard doesn't want to beep us on this one. Yeah, we are almost there, so we've got to go via Kilsby Tunnel, which is in 4 miles, and then that will then be that. There we go. Yeah, a good bit of fun on the Trent Valley. Again. So we'll get there in no time. What sort of time did I actually say we're going to get there? 50. Oh, 3 minutes. Alright. That should start coming down as we speed up. So it'll probably be about 2 minutes. And then that will then be that. There we go. Yes, after this it's then... Is it Coventry? No, that's a bit... I think that's further up, isn't it? Or is it? I can have a look on here, actually. Yeah, Coventry's up that way. It's like Birmingham International, then Birmingham New Street.
Smoking is prohibited on this service.
Alright.
This includes the toilets, which are fitted with sensitive
Right,
smoke
yeah.
alarms.
After Rugby, I suppose, yeah, possibly Milton Keynes. This will be the next sort of big station. Then sort of Watford Junction, then down into Euston. Yeah, my knowledge of the West Coast Main Line isn't as good as East Coast Main Line. Oh, we got TSR coming up. Oh, we don't want to slow down then, don't we? Oh. Ooh. We really got to put that down quick then. Hello people, just gonna do the whole a little bit over. Don't panic, don't panic. Oh, there's an intersection there as well. Oh, we just went past it, didn't we? Yeah, I think we've passed it. Or have we? There were some workers back there. And we'll always get the TSR signs. And I think it starts when you've got the T. Yeah, it starts when you see the T, doesn't it? Yeah, it'll be coming up now. And that's probably the T coming up now. Or they said the 20 board. So we've got some works on the line. Not sure you're going 20, mate. Hang on, can we actually try and get max points for this? If we get max points for this scenario, something is wrong. Mere max points, it never happens. That's very nice, giving us a wave. There's some more people up the end there. We've got 30. Give him a few honks. Alright. That's quite cool to end the scenario with some engineering works. Set 30 was coming up, didn't it? I can't see anything just yet. That's probably a 30, yeah, that's the 30 there at the end. Right at the end we'll go nice and slow. And then we end at the entrance to the tunnel, I think. Waving at us, wave back, hello. There you go, the digger there, digging up the side of the embankment, cutting, yeah, cutting, that's the one. Well, there we go. That is that. Well, once we get to the marker, that will then be that. Into the tunnel, and then there you go. So now will now end, and the emergency brakes come on. We've got 975 points, not maxed, I don't think, but Cool. But yeah, that is going to be everyone for today. Well, for my midweek madness event slot here on the Train Sim Classic Day. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed it. I'm sure there'll be another ambassador on or dovetail, so stick around for the next video or stream, whatever it's going to be. But yeah, big thanks to Dovetail for the opportunity to show off the Trent Valley here on Train Sim Classic. That's it from me. Links will probably be on the screen if I pop them in. And I'll see you all when I next see you. So see you. Thanks for watching. Take care. And well, yeah, see you in the next one. See ya.
Thank you very much, British Ace, for that look at the West Coast Mainline Trent Valley. That is currently 50% off right now on Steam in the Train Sim Madness sale. Moving on for the evening and our final Train Sim Classic Ambassador video for the day, we're heading over to TrainSimulatorDriver for a look at the West Highland Line. Enjoy!
G'day viewers, Train Simulator Driver here. We're in a 37. Hope you've got a bit of a cuppa. We're in the midst of the Dovetail Games Midweek Madness sale on Steam. We're on the West Highland Line in a 37 with its little corgi dog, and we're going to run a rescue train. So let's get on with it.
2278, signal Bumblebee, over.
2278, signal Bumblebee, state your message, over.
2278, request to enter the system, over.
2278, press receive to accept test token, over.
2278, now have test token on display, over.
2278, press send to enter system, over. 2278, train in the system, over.
2278, understood, out.
Excellent, now all that's out of the way. What we need now is to be allowed past this. And the way we do that is change the points and get permission from our signaller friend. So we're on the West Highland Line extension. And we're in Train Simulator Classic. Excellent. Let's pop back down here and let's try and get a token now.
2278, signal Bumblebee, over.
2278, signal Bumblebee, state your message, over.
Just slowly ramp up in anticipation of getting it, and if we don't get it, we'll break all of a sudden.
2278, press receive to accept token, over.
2278, for token to working light were found, section token on display, over.
2278, Fort William to Lock and Light were found, section token confirmed. You have permission to depart Fort William and proceed to the
Excellent.
Lock and Light were found, over.
2278, understand my permission.
Off we go.
And proceed to the DSP at Lock and Light were bound, out.
So we have a Fort William to Loch Eel token, housebound. Now this scenario normally runs in the nighttime, but that's not very exciting from a video perspective because it's kind of like, well, dark. And you really don't get to see much of the route. So I thought it would be a whole lot nicer to give it a little tweak. So what I did was I copied the scenario using the build menu inside Train Simulator Classic. And then just set these points back. Hopefully I'm far enough away from them. I don't think I am. Get that train off the points. Even though I hope I don't upset the scenario here because it is actually doing stuff. No, it's fine. Alright, we should better change the points now. Not yet. How about now? There we go. Okay. Alright. Points are done. Back in the train. We need to go up the other end now, so let's just shut this end down. Normally you'd put it all the way into shutdown, but it doesn't have a shutdown position in Train Simulator Classic, so that's fine. And release the independent brake. I've learnt that lesson the hard way before. And change ends. Pop! Off we are. We're at the other end now. Woohoo! Okay, let's get some headlights on. And some instrument lights. Not that they matter too much during the day, of course. And brakes off. Into forward. Acknowledge the AWS. And let's get out of here. So we've got our token from the signaller. So we can move off. Off towards Lock Isle. So we're going off to rescue a broken down train this evening. And as I was saying, I copied the scenario into a standard scenario because editing career scenarios doesn't go that well, because you're not really meant to be able to do it, because, well, that would let you cheat. So you kind of can't. So copy it into a standard, copy the scenario. So I've done that. And then I hop into a thing called TS Tools, which is a freebie utility for Train Simulator Classic. And in that I converted the scenario from a career to a standard, the copy I'd made. And then I used it to change the time that we were starting. So this scenario normally starts at 8 PM at night. I changed it so it started at about 4 PM instead. Which means you get to see what the route looks like, which makes it much more fun, rather than watching me fumble about in the dark trying to get things happening. About to head down Bubble. Towards the lock. Now this is a fairly common scenario on real railways. The relief of another train. Something that happens pretty much all the time, really. So it's nice to have a realistic thing like this in the game. Now, in real life, I am an engineman. I operate on a preserved heritage railway. I fire steam engines, and I operate on diesel engines. Which is an enormous amount of fun. But it's also an enormous responsibility. Must be time for a reflective shot, surely. There we go. Click. I think the seawall wasn't reflecting, but that's alright. So when I play, while I'm a bit of a clown, I do try to play with a degree of realism. And that just helps me set me apart from the other streamers that are just playing a game. So if you're interested in a degree of realism but still with plenty of fun, and from a hairy hillbilly clown from the down under land of Australia driving the trains for you, drop by me channel. Always like seeing a new face or two. I stream on most Sundays. And over the coming couple of months, I'll be streaming on the occasional Saturday. And if you're watching this on the Dovetail Steam channel, then we're in the middle of the Midweek Madness sale, and there's lots of awesome opportunities to fill out your Train Simulator Classic collection, or even your Train Sim World collection for that matter. Now, the HUD's telling me I have to stop just up here, so I'm using the independent brake. That's the little one over here in the corner. And it's not just the HUD that tells me that, because my route knowledge tells me that we've got a stop board up here. And the solid blue light on the stop board tells me that we have to stop. We're not allowed to go through it. If it's flashing, you can go through it. There we are there. And in a moment, the scenario will tell us what to do. And if you're a seasoned player, you know better than to skip ahead. Because strange things can happen when you try and outrun the simulator. So we'll just be patient and we'll wait, won't we? Maybe. Alright, so we can control tab to go past, to request to pass signal that danger is approved. And away we go. Now, we know that we're coming up to an obstruction. In real life, we would have been told roughly where it was, so we could drive at an appropriate speed to get there. But we wouldn't drive at full line speed, because your responsibility as an engineman is to get into the situation at a speed that's appropriate where you can stop short of any obstruction, which means that you need to be able to drive at a speed where you can stop within the visible sighting distance of whatever you're going to relieve. And we can see our train up there in the distance, not terribly far away. I think it's far enough away to get a nice little shot of our approach here. Except we do have to pop in and do a radio call, because we've left the station boundary.
2278 signaler, Barnaby. State your message, over.
2278, half past the station limit marker, over.
Now, in real life, when you've seen the set that you're going to relieve, you'd give them a bit of a warning that you're coming, just to let them know. And start reducing your speed. Now we can see in the distance there's a couple of people standing by to help us couple up and get set to take the train out. We are starting to go down a bit of a slope now, so we just need to watch that and keep our speed under control. Because you don't want to go banging into it and make a fairly run-of-the-mill situation into a rather non-run-of-the-mill situation where you might just, instead of being seen as the hero and doing a favour and rescuing another train and its passengers, you might become, well, the protagonist. And you'll have an interesting meeting with your boss. Who may want you to play a part in paying out the compensation to all the passengers that you hurt when you banged into the train while they were sitting inside, minding their own business. The guy with his hand up, so we'll acknowledge that. We've got our speed nice and low now. Let's pop out of the train so we can see what's going on a bit better. Now you'd always stop short before you couple up to a relief train. You'd have a conversation, you'd work out between the two drivers what you're going to do and the other crew involved on the ground. And only then would you proceed to couple up. Given this is old-fashioned hook and couplers, you don't need to whack into them really hard like you do with knuckles. Find the point. There we go. Well done. Please head back to Corpac and on to Fort William. We will not stop at Lock Isle Outward Bound, Corpac or Burnaby tonight. Contact the signaller now to get a token. Lovely. But first, before we do that, I think we probably want to change ends. So we'll put this brake into as near to shutdown as we can get it. Make sure this one is fully released. It is. Engine off. And let's get rid of our headlights and our instrument lights. And then let's change end the way you do in this game. Bonk. We have now changed into the other end of the train, so we'll pop on our instrument lights up this end and our headlights. Excellent. Might want to open the window as well. Never know. Remember that brisk Scottish air. It's time to get our token.
2278, signaler, Barnaby, over.
2278 signaler, Barnaby. State your message, over.
2278, standing
In the meantime, I've released the train brake, so it'll start pumping up the train, and I've applied the locomotive brake to stop us rolling away while that happens.
Block allowed for time to Fort William, section token on display, over.
2278, block allowed westbound to Fort William, section token confirmed. You have permission to pass the direction stop board the block allowed westbound and proceed to Fort William, over.
2278, understand I have permission to pass the DSB at block allowed westbound and proceed to Fort William, out.
So there's two things there. We have an appropriate authority to be on the line, which is a good thing because we're on it. And we have permission to pass the stop board at the station up there, which just makes life a little bit easier. Now it's time for some proper thrash. Because of course our passengers are already very late and they just want to get going. Seem to be in a tree. Yep, and because I was out of the cab then, I didn't properly acknowledge the AWS, so it's going to make us stop. Isn't that unfortunate? Let's just pop it back down into off. And at some point we should see the brakes start to come off. Just waiting for the timer. So much for being professional. I was too busy getting a camera angle. There they go now. They're starting to come off. Just have to wait long enough. And we can start accelerating so we don't roll backwards. Now, with this particular train, you don't hear the alerter from the AWS, the sound, when you're outside the train. So you need to keep a little bit of an eye on the exclamation mark next to the stop symbol there. Otherwise, that happens to you. And being the consummate professional, maybe cross that out and write clown, I was just getting a nice camera angle for you guys. That's life. There's a passenger head-out view. Let's get a move on. Let's get this train back to Fort William. Now this scenario has you doing some shunting after Fort William, but we won't do that because I'm on a bit of a time constraint with this session. Now you'll notice on the stop board up there we have a blue flashing light, which means we can go straight through. This bloke of course wants to get on the train and is now going, what? 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 It just went straight through. What's going on? What a meanie. It does always amaze me the quality of the graphics from it. A 20-year-old gaming engine. It's quite impressive. We have left the station limits, so I should tell our signal of that. So we're going our cruise through the afternoon. We appear to be in a tree again. Coming onto a bit of an upslope here as we're almost back where we started from at the Pulp Mill East sidings. Just give it a bit more grunt to get up the hill. Notice here we have a yellow distance signal that's permanently on. So it's permanently letting you know that there's a red signal coming up. Because just after the Pulp Mill sidings is a level crossing. And that level crossing will have a red signal on it until such time as it actually starts to clear. Just start a little bit of braking just to start slowing us down in case the red signal doesn't come off. Release the brakes now. This gets us down to about 28 mile an hour, which will be fine if we need to actually brake in a hurry. And the signal's gone green. So we can continue. These crossings are remarkably noisy. But they do in fact work, which is cool. Once the train gets far enough away, it'll pop open. There they go. Just in time for the AWS. Because we're coming into a low speed section of the line, and we have to do 10 mile an hour. There's lots of little foot crossings everywhere to get people to the shore. This is a fairly picturesque line. Lots of water, lots of ambiance. Kick the brakes off now. Wake the unit up again, just so we don't lose too much speed. You'll see that crossing up there will start shortly. AWS again, and we've got 10 mile an hour across the crossing. That's just to give the gates enough time to close. And we've got a white flashing light up there, so we're good to go. We have to run at 10 through the crossing and through the platform, and then back to our regular speed just afterwards. Another passenger waiting on the platform here that unfortunately we can't service today. At least the window's open. G'day brother, train's busted, I'll get you a new one. Over here we have the nice fishing vessel. Looks kind of like a research vessel. Or a tugboat, maybe. Could be a tugboat. We'd better get back in our train because it's running out of oomph because it's going up a 1 in 49 gradient. We're back to 40 miles an hour now, so let's have some good thrash. There's another distance signal that's permanently mounted in the on position. Moving away from the lock now. As we head towards Fort William. Cutting off because we have got a lower speed section coming up. Little 25 zone here as we go around the curve. Plenty of traffic on the road there, which I always appreciate. It makes the route feel more lively. Bit of a tight one this corner. Another level crossing up there, and a red signal, which should clear, but if it doesn't, we need to be prepared to stop. The bridge is still moving, coming into place. We've also got, I left this a little bit late, but I think we're going to get away with it. We did. Lucky. It's interesting how the road bridge opens when the railway bridge shuts. Now, right in front of us, we have a temporary speed restriction flashing board there, which means that we should expect some track workers. I did approach that bridge just a little bit too fast. We're just doing some spirited running right now. Just ignore the HUD. Ignore it. Ignore it. I better slow down if this bloke up here will have something to say about it. Got to acknowledge him, he's got his hand up. And we've got a trackside speed limit as the regular 40 as we pass through Banavi Station. Sounds like a pie. Is this place made of bananas and caramel? Oh no, that's banoffee. So we've got a temporary speed limit of 25. And our track worker here just letting us know. He's got his hand up because he's letting us know he's seen us. AWS warning for his temporary sign there, his speed limit. And we can now accelerate, but only up to 25. We come across a bunch of chaps who are doing a bit of work on the side of the track. Track used to be my job on the railway, but I've gotten into locomotives. If you want to know more about track work, I have a video series on my channel which is about real life experiences on the Heritage Railway. And if you're not aware, Heritage Railways in this country are just another railway. We're covered by an Act of Parliament, just like all the regular railways are, And we obey the same rules and regulations, and we have the same regulator. And if you're naughty, we have the same punishments. So I just cruise through here, nice low speed for the blokes doing track work. It's the temporary limit end sign just coming up here. And at some point we'll be allowed to go back up to 40 mile an hour. Back of the train's almost past the crew now. Alright, back of the train's past the crew, so we can go back up to our normal speed. Just past the end marker. Like they hinted the mountains up ahead there behind the slightly jittery mist. Green signal and a couple of miles to Fort William. And naturally, a gratuitous bridge shot because you have to. I like the little castles there. It's like rooks. Say hello to the fellas. Green signal to come into Fort William. The end of radio token working. Just a slight gradient coming into Fort William. Just noticed my camera makes this cup grey. It's actually purple. It's from one of my favourite places in the world, the Yosemite National Park in the US. One of my recent trips, I was privileged enough to camp there for a week. It's a great way to see the park because you can get out of bed and get on the trail at 6 in the morning when the sun's just come up, so that you're 4 hours ahead of all the tourists who are just getting out of bed in the cities to get into their cars to come to the park. Which means you actually get to experience the park as a wilderness, not as a place that's unbearably full of people, until you come back down the trail later on and you pass them all going any other way. Final approach into Fort William now. And I can see I've got about 10 minutes or so left on my time slot, so we'll see how much of the shunt work we can get in. So if you like a visually pleasing route, which has got a, we're going to go into platform 1. Please ensure the position of the train clear of the runaround points so we don't foul them. Very good. So if you like a visually pleasing route, then this one's probably right up your alley. Get a yellow signal. That's because we're coming into a dead-end platform. So if you'd like to see more of realistic train driving, with an element of clown thrown in for the good amusement, and the occasional major error, feel free to drop by my channel. I'm on YouTube, and I am Train Simulator Driver. It's all one word. It's time to stop this beastie and uncouple, and that should keep us plenty of room over the points. I'm going to return the token, so let's press the call button.
278 signaler manually over.
2278 signaler manually. State your message. Over.
2278 clear of the signal line. Request to return token. Over.
2278 clear of the signal line. Press send to return token. Over.
2278
Oh, that noise from the 80s.
over.
The internet of old.
Blank display confirmed. Out.
While all that's happening, we can uncouple. See, why don't we stay outside the train while we do this bit? That's about all for you, matey. Let's go onto this frame here while the train stops. There we go. Ready for it to come back. Just wait for the scenario to catch up with us. We're going to head out the other end. So it wants us to change ends now, so we'll do that. Put this brake on as much as we can. Release this one as much as we can. Set the train to off, which we've already done. Instrument lights and headlights off. And change ends. Headlights on. Instrument lights on. Release the brake. Wake up the directions, put this in forward, and off we go. Give the passengers the delight of a bit of thrash. Go 3 times the speed limit because we're running out of time in our time slot. I want to see how much we can get done. Might be simpler if we just do that. Perhaps not actually, because then I won't really know where to stop. This bit makes me a tad nervous because we're clearly heading out of yard limits. Yet we're got no token. This feels like one of those moments when another stop point possibly could have been added to make the scenario a little more realistic. It clearly wants us to cross this signal boundary here. There we go. Now we'll be heading back the other way to collect our train. Oh, our beloved little brake's not quite believing the rail driver. Not making any amperes. Have we not gotten into reverse quite properly? I suspect that might be the case. Let's give it a try now. It's not making any amps. Why would that be? Back into reverse now. Let's try that. There we go. It's one of the challenges with Raildriver is it doesn't always quite properly talk to the game, and things look like they've happened right, but it hasn't. But you just live with these things because, you know, using the Raildriver is a lot more fun than just using the keyboard and the mouse. Actually bought my Raildriver in 2001 when MSTS came out. So it's a very, very old device. It still works. It's the only computer device I've got that's that old that still works. Now I have a faint suspicion that we might want to ask the signaller for permission to go through that signal. We're allowed in. We've got a shunt now. You can see the little diagonal, oops, zoomed in too far. See the little diagonal white lights there? That lets us know that we can go past the red. I'll just take this back down and put it on the train, and that'll be right about time. I think our little brake is not quite believing the Raildriver again. Locomotive is a lot more responsive at low revs now, so that was the issue. Let's just head down and wait to couple up. So the shunter on the ground is always going to work on the driver's side of the locomotive wherever possible, so that you can give hand signals. So we'll stay over on this side rather than be up on the platform. Does mean that you need to be mindful of any traffic that might be moving around next to you. Let's come to a stop before we couple. Everything set up good. And close the gap. And just get her coupled up. Let's find a hot spot. There we go. Now, take this lot back to the depot for repair. Well, we actually won't be doing that because we're out of time for our time slot. But let's just get above the area, bit of a view. This very pretty area of Scotland. And of course, it wouldn't be right if there wasn't someone that say, I cannot give it any more, Captain. And that's all from me, Train Simulator Driver. Enjoy the sail. Hope you're picking some stuff up. If you're watching this on my channel later, sorry the sail's over. Anyway, have fun. Bye.
Thank you very much to Train Simulator Driver for that awesome video. If you're interested in playing West Highland Line on Train Sim Classic yourself, that is also 50% off in the Train Sim Madness sale. So that is a wrap for day 3 of the event. Tune in tomorrow for our final day, where things will be starting a little earlier, looking at 2 PM UTC for the kickoff there, and we'll be starting with some ambassador videos and ending with a live stream from our very own Alex. So lots to look forward to, and we'll see you then. Bye bye.